Mhm. Okay. No. Hello again. So, in my previous videos, I explained first 6 games of match Alekhine Euwe. Today I will explain game 7. So, score is 4-2 in favor of Alekhine, and Alekhine has white. I am fine, thanks. So, Alekhine is white. Is it everything okay with voice, with sound, with video? I hope so. I am fine, thanks. So e4, e6. Euwe played French defense. Knight g2 variation. D takes e4. Euwe repeated line from previous game. Of course, black has alternatives. For example, knight c6 is possible if a3, bishop a5. Of course, bishop takes c3 and d takes e4, as I already explained it, also possible. If bishop b5, knight g7. If d5, it's also possible, but doesn't bring advantage because e takes d5, queen takes d5, and now the best for black is bishop e6, as I remember. If queen takes e4, knight f6, and if queen h4, queen d4, and in this position it's difficult for white to fight for advantage. For example, if take, bishop d3, black can play bishop f5 to exchange bishops and have equal position. Also possible knight f6 with idea if e5, knight e4. This game it was played by expert of French Sergei Dolmatov, and one of his game was a3, bishop takes c3, knight takes c3, knight takes c3, b takes c3, and he played castle. And his opponent played queen h5, probably it's not the best move. And after f5, g4, bishop d7, takes, queen h3, bishop e8, bishop d3, bishop g6. Black has more than enough compensation for the exchange. The point of course, this variation is not forcing. White has several alternatives. Instead of queen h5, for example, more logical looks simple bishop d3 here. But the point is if a3 immediately, black has bishop c3 and knight takes e4, and now white has problem to demonstrate sufficient compensation for the pawn, because if queen g4, black has castle, if knight takes e4, f5. Well, but so if white playing this, probably the best chance to fight for compensation is knight takes e4, d takes e4, bishop e3 with pawn queen d2 and long castle. Okay, so here e5, of course, main line. Another rare line is bishop d2, which, for example, I played against Rafael Vaganyan, but he equalized chances after knight e7, a3, bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, d takes e4, queen g4, castle, queen takes e4, knight d7. And them more precise, and then before. But, well, G4 was novelty in that time. Well, it's difficult to say how good this move, but very interesting that Alekhine demonstrated ideas. And for example, now very popular move is G4 immediately. And this master Yonich not take pawn immediately, take in next move, or firstly to play bishop G2 and then take f5. It's quite risky here because white can take and play knight f4, and queen h5 is a threat, and if knight f6, bishop c4, black has problem with castle, so this is dangerous line at all. So probably for black something different is better. Probably b6 is possible, for example. Okay, there are many moves with g4 immediately, I mean, but Alekhine played in this position, g4. This is not the same. Euwe played b6. Of course, there are many alternatives here, but not so easy to play with black. So it's important to understand that probably main idea of g4, it's not just direct attack, but idea to improve position knight on e4, because somewhere this connection g5 and knight on e5, it's very important positionally. For example, not even in French defense, for example, in Benoni defense, it's possible something like this strategy for black. Just illustrate this. For example, this king h1 and g5. So this is quite typical strategy for Benoni. Knight on e5, pawn on g5. Idea of g5, not allow f4. So more or less here same idea. So after g4, not so easy to play f5 for black. And for example, if knight f6, it's totally possible, of course. White can take, and now I don't know what is the best, bishop e3 or c3. But for example, if c3, after e5, d5, black cannot play knight e7, because after g5, losing the piece. So knight b8 is only move, and after knight g3, another white knight has comfortable square e4. Okay, so what else could play Max Euwe? Of course, immediately e5 looks like reasonable alternative, but d5, knight d4, now it's not so good take on d4, because queen takes d5 and white is losing the pawn, and compensation here probably not sufficient. Also, okay, so this is queen e2, I mean, maybe also there is some compensation, but I'm not sure that this is sufficient compensation for the pawn. But white can play something else. So, for example, this move is possible. Maybe also possible this move, because queen takes d5, g3, c3, black losing the piece, and attack with this. I'm not sure is it so good. If knight takes a1, queen takes g7, so it looks complicated somehow, but not bad for white. Okay, so Euwe played b6. Hello. Desde Catalonia. Okay. Hola. b6 is quite logical idea to put bishop on b7 in opposite to bishop g2. So bishop g2, bishop b7, c3. So he protected pawn d4, and now his knight from e2 can jump to g3 or f4, it depends on situation. Knight f6 played Euwe, totally normal move, but of course not only reasonable way. For example, queen d7 and long castle was quite a reasonable plan as well. And maybe there is a reason to play knight f6 later, and if white will take on f6, g takes f6. It's impossible. It's possible to consider, but after long castle. Okay, knight f6 is normal move, knight g3, and now also queen d7 is possible, but now, okay, after knight f6, bishop takes f6, knight h5, so it's not so pleasant, probably allow g takes f6 after exchange bishop, and immediately g takes f6 is possible, but okay, white more flexible, so white has short castle, or white can prepare a long castle, for example, with bishop e3, and if long castle, queen e2, and important that knight takes d4 not works now because bishop takes b7 check, and next move long castle, and for example, if this again knight takes d4 doesn't work because rook takes d4, this is complicated position, but okay, knight a5, for example, this black has some contraplay with queen d5, knight c4, but okay, it's another game. So Max Euwe played castle. Yes, but more flexible was queen d7 here, and to see what white will do, because somewhere black can, for example, after bishop e3, black can consider castle, and next move e5 is possible. For example, if this e5 is possible, and I'm not sure what to do with white, because his pawn g4 is hanging. Okay, now d5, it's of course possibility, it's important possibility with the idea of queen takes d5, queen takes d5, rook takes d5, knight g5, bishop takes g5, bishop takes d5, and white is exchange up, but okay, after d5, black has also knight a5, and the situation is not so clear. So two pawns are attacked, and black knight ready to jump to c4. So okay, so after queen d7, I don't know what exactly planned to play Alekhine. Okay, maybe he had something like this. F4, but now even knight takes d4 and f5 black can consider. Also, immediately this idea doesn't work, because this black is just pieced down. So after f4 something else, but okay, for example, f5 here is possible. The position is quite complicated. Knight f2 maybe, it's reasonable. Okay, if not f5, what else? d5 maybe. Try to utilize that queen is not protected, but okay, it's while streaming, probably only once. Yes, I played banter chess, so only one time. So this maybe castle, and if knight takes g4, rook takes f7. So maybe this was plan of Alekhine to build structure c3, d4, f4, and try to utilize space advantage. Okay, let's see what can play black now. Okay, black can play knight a5, for example. If castle f5 is idea to exchange this bishop and then finish development. For example, knight f2 takes. Now knight f6 is possible, or queen d5 check immediately. So position is quite playable for both. Okay, but Euwe played knight f6. Probably it's not the most accurate move, but surely still playable. And now castle. Castle, it's a little bit dangerous because it's more or less obvious that white is well prepared for attack in king's flank. Because of this, seems me more accurate to take immediately. Now, if knight takes, again, not possible something like this, because knight f6 or knight d6, but okay, after knight takes c4, there is solid move, queen d7, and also maybe knight a5 can be considered, same motive which I showed, castle f5, and idea, for example, this, and knight needs to go, and black has time. There's queen d5. This position looks like totally acceptable for black. So maybe after knight a5, white has something else. Okay, b4 is possible, but I don't know. It's quite sharp position after f5. And then black will take on e4 with bishop. Also, of course, queen d7 is totally normal move with idea to prepare long castle, or knight a5 in other moment. But Euwe played castle, it's quite dangerous decision. And Alekhine immediately started attack, g5. Knight takes c4, knight takes c4. Now the white plan is more or less obvious, queen h5 and some threats. King h8, strange move somehow, but not so easy to play with black already. Knight a5 looks like option in many opening. This maneuver helps black solve opening problem. But for example, I will show you another example. I played against Levon Aronian. He played g3, bishop b4, bishop d2. Bishop d2. I played queen e7, bishop g2, knight c6, e3, this line. E3 is very important because white not blocked his bishop. I played b6, knight e2, bishop b7. And now if white just castling, black can play knight a5 and exchange bishops, and position is totally playable for black. White cannot utilize bishop b4 because, for example, if takes, if bishop c1, c5 is quite good. A3, bishop a5, and black has no special dangers here. But the problem is in this variation is that instead of castle, so my suggestion in not playing opening automatically. So it's better to think what wants opponent. So. And if utilize this recommendation, so it's clear that black wants to play knight a5. And because of this, instead of castle, much better for white to play a3 looks like very modest, but actually it's very strong move. And after bishop takes d2, knight takes d2. And now the problem that black cannot exchange bishops, because after knight d8 or knight a5, white has e4. So this was idea to bring knight on d2. And now the same story. So knight a5 looks very logical, but the problem before is possible. But okay, before is move which was necessary to calculate, but maybe it was reasonable idea for Max Euwe not refuse from this variation and play this. It looks dangerous somehow because knight f6, but objectively it's not so clear, because after bishop takes f6, bishop takes g5. Okay, black has pawn against exchange and very strong knight on c4. So it's big question if white has advantage here. If white doesn't play before, okay. After queen h5, now knight b3 is possible. If some other move, for example, bishop f4, black has more contraplays than in the game. For example, they can consider bishop d5 with idea to prepare knight c4, knight d6. So probably it was interesting moment, or maybe immediately knight c4 is possible. Not only attack b2 pawn, but idea to simplify position. But king h8, it's a passive move, and Alekhine simply continue his attack. Now also knight a5 is possible, but now white is better prepared for bishop f4. Okay, maybe it's not very dangerous, so maybe knight a5, this is move which I like. If bishop f4, very logical, but okay, black can play bishop d6 and probably not so bad for them. Probably there are some other moves, even strange looking queen d5 is possible. Idea activate queen as soon as possible. But okay, this is knight f6, queen f5 is the idea, but okay, this is a real danger with bishop e5, and now knight f6 is threat. And not sure what to do, but also still not totally clear that this is so bad for black after, for example, queen b5 or queen b3, because no direct mate. If queen h6, black has rook g8. If knight f6, just g takes f6 and g takes f6, bishop d6, and I don't see direct mate. But of course, black need to play extremely precise now. So okay, what other option here against attack in king's flank? Looks logical e5. Very natural move to open the center, and black wants to take on d4. Okay, so the most logical move for white is d5, and now queen takes d5 doesn't work, because after knight f6, queen d3, bishop e4, white is just winning. But after d5, again knight a5 is possible. And black are ready to take the pawn with his next move. So what to do? Before knight c4. So Knight f6, okay, it's standard idea, and if g takes f6, bishop e4, white is just winning, but black can take with bishops, and after g takes f6, queen takes f6, white is pawn down, and there is no serious attack here. So knight, so okay, immediately knight f6, but okay, hardly possible. Again, g takes f6 is losing, but after this, black is totally okay. If bishop e4, g6, if d takes e5, maybe even this is possible. Looks good for black. After f4, okay, maybe knight e5 and knight d3. But even if any tactics doesn't work, black can just exchange bishops and have quite a good position. So, okay, after e5, what was plan of Alekhine? It's big. So, I suppose that d5. Okay, another possibility, probably bishop e3, something like this, after e takes d4, castle. So, this is also possible, but position is far from clear here. But okay, so maybe queen d7, for example. Okay, so position is really sharp. I can consider ideas like this, and then bishop e4, f5, bishop takes d4. But what is this? So at the moment white is piece down, so knight takes d4. So rook takes d4 is not possible because queen after queen takes d4, bishop takes f5, queen f4 check. After c takes d4, bishop takes e4. Black has too many pieces against queen. So bishop takes b7 is certainly best, but position is far from clear. Okay, white will take piece probably back, but even about this I'm not sure. Maybe black can consider knight b3 check, and if king c2, queen a4, something like this. But okay, even if black plays very primitively, something like this, okay, it's hard to say definitely that white has advantage. Okay, structure is slightly better, but coordination of pieces is hardly better for white here. So if I was very serious, very principled alternative, I don't know why Max Euwe refused to play this. Okay, maybe here something else. Okay, maybe knight f6 is correct, but and now this looks like problem, because if bishop takes f6, bishop e4 is coming. So this is a serious problem. So maybe here black need to play more accurately. But well, there is some ideas here, in my opinion. Even something like this, it's possible to consider. And after rook takes, again, if take with rook, knight f6 can be problem for black. But black can take with knight, and if this try to build some kind of fortress, for example, to play g6, and if queen h6, knight e6, knight f6, now bishop takes f6, and bishop takes e4 is, and bishop takes g5 is threat. H4 hardly good, because black has rook g8 idea, and white has no defense against bishop f8. So position is very spicy. Probably a plan of Alekhine was bishop e3, because after d5, knight a5, now it's too late. So bishop e3 is possible, but black has no obligation to take the pawn. Knight c4 is possible, and then exchange the bishop. Or also, okay, probably this is also idea. But now instead of knight c4, also queen takes d5 can be considered. Knight f6 is possible, but black has queen d3, and if rook d1, queen g6, and all is protected. If immediately rook d1, black has queen b3, and big question. White have sufficient compensation for the pawn or not. If b4, for example, it looks like not enough because queen c4 is possible. So e5 was very interesting alternative. And okay, I suppose that Alekhine planned to play this. And now practically not so easy to play with black because always knight f6, but okay, as in line which I demonstrated, okay, it's possible, but okay, maybe after g6 queen g4 is better, and then h4. So here it's this game Alekhine won. I will show you, but match won Max Euwe. 30 games. So probably Euwe didn't like this position. But and it's possible to understand him because white has many attacking possibilities, especially with knight f6 in some moment. So he played queen e8. It's quite looks like quite passive. Okay, so this series of move is not convincing from Max Euwe. So king h8, and now queen e8. But okay, so it's easy to make critical. So knight a5 probably the most solid, as I explained it. This idea not allow motive knight f6 and bishop e4. So probably it was the most solid here, because e5, bishop e3, e takes d4 castle. It's quite dangerous for black. So, but here, if bishop e3, knight c4, if bishop e3, let's see, knight c4, knight f6, knight c4. I'm not so sure because knight f6, but. And if bishop takes f6, even this idea can be considered. If this, and rook g1. And looks dangerous for black somehow. Also, probably nothing special. For example, this, and queen d5. And still no mate. If bishop takes b7 here, well, it's possible, but queen g4 instead of rook g1. Instead of rook g1. Okay, queen g4 is possible, but it's not dangerous at all. So black has many moves. Queen d5 or rook g8. So it doesn't look that the white is pretending for advantage here. White has no attack. So rook g1 looks more promising, but actually doesn't bring something special. So bishop takes b7 we can consider, of course. It's probably a more serious alternative. But okay, position is far from clear anyway. For example, Even g6 is possible. Queen f3. Bishop, no, bishop takes g5 is bad. So, okay, g6 is bad move, so I will try to recommend something better. So probably, but if knight takes e3, g takes f6. So, okay, okay, I took with bishop. I can take also with pawn, but if take with pawn, it's also interesting. And now g takes f6 not possible because bishop takes g2. So bishop takes b7. It's the best, but okay, yes, f takes g5 probably. But okay, so takes long castle. Okay, let's see this. Okay, now maybe also h4 is possible, but okay, g takes h4, bishop h6, something like this. So it's still not so easy to play. Okay, but after bishop e3, knight c4 is not only move, so it's it's totally possible bishop d5. Eliminate ideas with knight f6, and now if, for example, castle, black can play knight c4 or or knight c4, queen d7 with idea to prepare knight c6, queen c6. So okay, there is some danger, but black has his trumps. White king it's not well protected too. So here surely choice of Max Euwe wasn't the best. He played queen e8, quite passive move and not move in spirit of position. So e5 or knight e5 was the best opportunities in my opinion. And now, okay, knight f6. I don't know if Max Euwe missed this move or what, because now it's quite obvious that black is in big trouble. So queen e8 is bad move. Knight f6, and now takes with bishop, because takes with pawn was possible, but not so pleasant. Now bishop takes f6, bishop e4, it's lost immediately, so black should play knight a5, but okay, now to play with such king, it's not a pleasant. But well, so something like this, bishop takes b7, knight takes b7, takes something like this. White has no forcing win, at least I don't see it, but position is pretty unpleasant for black after simple bishop f4 and long castle. So it's easy to understand Max Euwe, who didn't like such a position. But now also situations unpleasant for black, because white is attacking for nothing. Okay, just for pawn, it's more than enough compensation in this position. So took the pawn, queen h4. Queen d8. I'm trying to understand. Of course, black needs to defend his pawn. Aha, on f6, and white from d8. From e7 looks more natural, but there is very concrete problem. If queen e7, bishop e4. it wins immediately. After f5, queen takes e7 and bishop takes b7. So black has no choice, queen d8 and bishop f4. Situation is extremely dangerous because of very weak king. He plays e5, although much more natural looks rook g8. We'll try to understand why Euwe didn't play this. f6, when f6? When f6? In which moment f6? f5? When? I don't understand question. So somewhere here. Okay, here knight a5 looks like the most solid. e5 also possible, although after bishop e3 it takes d4 on castle. It's situation still dangerous for black somehow. f5, where f5? Okay, here f5 is impossible because queen f6, bishop h6. In which moment f5? Yeah, f5 attacking queen h4. No, here f5. Here f5. Yes, it's possible, but okay. Of course, white has much better endgame. So queen takes d8 is possible, and this, even this is possible for white with much better endgame, but okay. Also possible looks queen h6 play for attack, and black cannot play rook g8 because bishop takes c6 with idea bishop e5. If black plays rook g6, white can just ignore and this position is totally loosened. But rook g8, why not play? So it's more interesting question. And after bishop e4, now f5. But queen takes, and now black cannot take with rook a because this. After rook g7, rook g1, white is totally winning. So it's necessary to take with another rook, but situation is still dangerous for black, but maybe not so hopeless because white bishop is attacked, and what to do? So bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6, black king has time for escape. If rook g1, f6 is possible, if bishop e5, king g8, rook g1, king f8, and okay, and next move king e7. Probably bishop f6 is possible to prepare rook g7, rook h7. So this can be very serious problem for. Yes, Winawer, but with knight g2. So not the main line of Winawer. And now, okay, maybe black still have some chances, but it's unpleasant. Rook g7. If e5, d takes e5. Rook e8, king f1. Oh, also is possible immediately take. No. Oh, yes. Listen, check. King e7 not possible because e takes f6. If this, and now, but now rook g6. Suddenly, black is winning the piece because two rooks are under attack. So this variation doesn't work. But okay, after king f1, it's obviously nothing good for black here. So this is problem. Bishop e4, and so rook g8 has disadvantage. And also bishop f4, it's not only just developing move, but also white has threat bishop takes c7, for example. If knight a5, white can realize it. Queen takes c7, queen f6, bishop b7, rook g1, and mate. If queen e7, bishop d6, white is winning. So this also important motive. Because of this, Max Euwe played e5. So difficult choice, but probably nothing else. And now after bishop e4, he has f5, and at least not winning, not losing immediately. So bishop g5, if f6 is possible. If bishop f5, just queen e7, and suddenly black has contraplay because bishop is hanging. So e takes d4 is threat to. So this was the idea, but Alekhine calmly played bishop g3, which looks much more logical. So he plays with queens on the board, and there are many threats. So bishop e4 is threat, or just he wants to play long castle. The situation is extremely dangerous for Max Euwe. f5 he played. Details. So pin is very unpleasant, and black has no, I mean in diagonal h1, a8, so black cannot avoid this. After bishop e3, where bishop e3 in that line, where bishop e3? Where bishop? Here bishop e3 or where? Two bishops were hanging and the queen went. Yes. So if to hurry with this, so it's not so convincing, because after this, yes, if bishop e3, yes, knight takes d4 or e takes d4, and now knight takes d4 and bishop takes h1, so it's of course not what wanted white, and now even probably rook a8 intermediate move is possible. No, but bishop g3, it's very smart choice, so white still have very strong bishops and pressure in king's flank, and also in the center, and very unpleasant pin on long diagonal. Big problem with king, so opening catastrophe for Max Euwe, but not because of novelty g4, because of some strange move, so which was started from long castle and then king h8, and especially queen e8. It's looks like already direct mistake, which now after e takes d5, where e takes d5? E takes d4. Okay. It takes d4. Okay, now it looks like position is better for black because they can win exchange somewhere on h1 and probably white has no compensation. But okay, Alekhine played much stronger. Bishop g3. Now if he takes d4, he can just make castle. And for example, if he takes d4, he can just castle. And if f5, now queen h6 looks pretty unpleasant, and white has too many threats. Rook g1. Black can never played rook g8 because bishop takes c6 and bishop e5. Okay, I mean, rook g6 is possible, but white can just take here and win this position. Will be more fun. Okay, but also I'm not sure that white is totally winning. Yes, winning, because here white can take, and if queen g5, f4, and then back with bishop. Yes, classical chess, okay, 30 games match. And in this time it was extremely interesting. But now hardly possible to imagine 30 games match. It would be very boring for spectators. Well, f5. D takes e5. So Alekhine protected from f4 was threat and continue attack. So black cannot exchange queens because after bishop takes h4, white bishop will come to f6 with mating threats. So he played rook g8 with threat take on h4, take on g2. But Alekhine defended bishop f3. And now he is preparing same ideas. For example, if knight a5, he can take, play rook d1. After this, bishop takes h4. It looks terrible for black because bishop penetrate on f6, rook penetrate on d7. Everything is bad for black. Probably even rook d1 immediately. Rook d1 immediately possible as well. Yes, because bishop takes f3 doesn't work. Here black cannot take with this rook because queen f6. If take with another rook, white can just castle very calmly and to win this. Okay, about Euwe, Shahryar Mamedyarov told me that he has very good opinion about Euwe, and he studies his games and was really impressed. About myself, okay, unfortunately I didn't study yet many games of Max Euwe, but okay, probably I will do. Okay, it's difficult to say why somebody is more famous, why somebody is less famous, but of course, very interesting player and very tactical player, and he had very good opening preparation for, I mean, for that time. So rook d1 is also possible, and I mean, if this bishop takes h4, bishop f3, idea is bishop f6, and if rook g7, rook g1, bishop takes d1, and okay, this position should be winning for white. I don't know. Probably the simplest is rook takes g7, and black has no defense, so rook white wants just give mate. If h6, okay, everything is winning. Okay, at least king takes d1. So after knight a5, pleasant choice. Immediately takes on b7 or play rook d1. So Euwe wanted to avoid this, but he has nothing good in this position because white is well prepared for rook d1. And, it's simple to see it, but okay, maybe more stubborn was something like rook g6, if castle, queen e8. Okay, castle is not possible, sorry. So if, yes, rook g6 looks like logical move. And if rook d1, queen e8, something like this. But okay, it's anyway, position looks terrible for black, but probably at least it's not winning by force. Okay, castle, for example. Now something like knight a5. Okay, bishop h5 and possible. Surely white is much better, probably winning, but okay, it's still some play. Bishop h5, rook h6 probably, for example. Something like this. This may be mistake because queen c6. But also I'm not sure because this. And black cannot take because take and mate. So if king g7 immediately, yes, king g7 is much better. And now problem for white is that after queen g5, black has rook g6 with mating set. So maybe bishop takes f7 is just mistake. If now bishop d5, queen takes d5, rook takes d5, this, this, and black is winning the piece. But okay, so this line after knight a5. Okay, so bishop h5 probably good move, but after rook h6, white need to play something else, probably just f3. It's possible to prepare bishop f4. Yes, there is idea, but to leave rook on g6. But okay, for example, if this f3, white has idea with rook d8, so it's hard to believe that this is it can be a good positional compensation because his king is too weak. So in my opinion, rook g6 was more stubborn, but Euwe played queen d3. Alekhine played bishop e2. Now, okay, queen c2 looks terrible somehow because queen f6 and rook g1 is coming. So, okay, maybe not winning by force, but extremely dangerous. But okay, in this position, everything is extremely dangerous for black, so it's not possible to see a line which is not extremely dangerous. So maybe it was some practical reason to play queen c2. For example, if queen f6, rook g7, if bishop f4, king g8 to prepare rook g6. So who knows, maybe white has no mathematic way to win, but position looks. Why I'm not using engine? okay, maybe because I'm too lazy for this. Okay, so okay, for example, even for spectators, okay, I prefer demonstrate what I am thinking about. Okay, everybody can use engine. Okay, so okay, you can find many mistakes in my analyze. Okay, but I'm trying to express my opinion. I want to show my understanding of chess. So, for example, Queen C2. Probably engine immediately will show winning way for white, but okay. But, I'm trying to do it with my own head. So not so simple. Okay, maybe something like this and bishop f3, but queen takes b2, and if castle, queen takes c3, and so. Okay, queen c2. How to play? Surely Alekhine had some idea, but I'm trying to understand which idea. It's not so easy. Yes, queen f6, rook g7, bishop f4, yes, but okay, king g8. Or maybe even this is possible, firstly. Because rook is attacked, and only after rook c1 to play king g8. And black still alive. Bishop c4, where bishop? Here, here bishop c4. Bishop c4. Okay. Interesting move, but okay, if I will attack this bishop, what is this? Oh, okay, so what is the best after queen c2? I'm trying to understand. How would play great Alekhine here? It's a question. So in the game after queen e4, it's quite obviously bad. So this is very easy. So after queen c2, it's not such easy for white because black suddenly has some contraplay against b2, c3 pawns. So was forced, but why it was forced? It wasn't. After queen e4, yes, after queen e4 looks like game is over, but after queen c2, it's okay. It looks like suddenly black has strong contraplay because white has only two attacking pieces, so queen and bishop g3, but so it was it's question for me. So f5. For example, why Alekhine not played queen h6? Probably queen d6 he doesn't like. Probably queen d6. So this looks tempting, this idea, but queen d6. Of course, this line, it's hard to estimate like good for black because I can take and take. And take. And excellent chances in endgame, much better. So queen h6 was interesting alternative. In this endgame, white has good chances for win. But okay, I cannot assert that this is winning. But for example, after this, even this is possible. Much better. Okay, so there is proposition queen f6 after queen c2. What was proposition? Bishop g3 f5. Rook g8, bishop f3, queen d3, queen f6, and rook g1 was proposition. Okay, but for example, if I just take this idea, rook d1, only reasonable move, because rook is attacked, and sorry, e6 and bishop d1. Wow, is it serious? Okay, if I just play rook, if rook d8, bishop d6. Bravo. Yes, okay, so rook g1. Okay, probably if imagine that this is losing line, but black can, if black plays this, e6 is strong. Yes, so it looks like true. Yes, so rook g1, queen takes b2, e6. Very nice. If it works, of course, it looks like works. Yes, nice motive bishop. But bishop e5. If rook e8, bishop e5. If rook d8, bishop d6. Very nice. No, but it looks like true. Yes, e6. Very nice idea. But okay, probably Alekhine saw it and Euwe as well. Okay. So, queen e4. Yes, bishop h4, h6, castle, f4. Excellent. Of course, rook d7 and rook c7 probably winning as well. But okay, bishop d5, black. So f4 is very aesthetic move. After takes, bishop takes f3. I will come back in 2 minutes. So I am here. Everybody can hear me well. Let's just study. You need time. Use it, but find chess base. Hard to use. Selamlar. Merhaba. He takes bishop f3. Again, black has problem with spin in long diagonal. And finally they exchanged piece, but it's too late. After rook d7, all pawns in 7 rank are attacked and position is totally losing. 2 pawns up. Knight e5 even impossible because simple refutation. Like so, king f5. King e3. If knight e3, rook d4 mate. And Max Euwe resigned. Score is +3. After game 7. So Alekhine won this game in very nice attacking style with very creative novelty, which had big future, as I explained it on games by Yoni Hector. But it were many interesting moments. So g4 is probably not strongest move, and certainly according to modern theory, knight c6 is not strongest move. So experts preferring knight f6, as I explained it. And if white doesn't want to play e5 main line, so there are alternatives here. a3 and b takes c3, knight g2, bishop d2, and also e takes d5 is popular now. E takes d5, bishop d3. Which opening is the best for black and white pieces? Okay, nobody knows. It's matter of taste. So I don't know which is opening is the best. So it depends which type of position you want to reach or you want to avoid. So yes, it's also depends of tournament situation, also depends of opponent, also depends of your mood. Many things. So okay, my goal today was demonstrate game number 7 from the match, and I did it. So I will continue this match till the end. Step by step I will explain what happened. So I see it very interesting fight. So and especially for that time they demonstrate very good opening preparation both. He was so much richer and creative than Kappa. Okay, but Kappa was very creative as well, also in opening. For example, I can remember games between Euwe and Capablanca. It was match in 1931, and it was 3 games in this line, which is very popular even now. Bishop before played Capablanca and played knight e4, and after queen c2, knight takes c3, knight g5, sorry, not queen g5, of course, knight e4. bishop e4, bishop, queen takes queen. So this line, it was big discussion, 3 games between Euwe and Capablanca. Okay, I am totally not agree that Capa was boring. Okay, so, but it was not topic for today, so probably for next videos I will choose some games of Capablanca to demonstrate that he wasn't boring. He was a very creative player as well. So, but okay, for today it's enough. I hope you are not so tired. How would you describe my style? My style. Okay. I don't know what is my style. Okay, I need to think. What is my style? Creative style, and I have many knowledge about chess. So, and I like to experiment. I like to try always something new. So it's okay, but it's probably to describe my style. I need to create separate video from this. So for today was Alekhine Euwe. So thanks for attention. Bye.